So we went ahead and took off this visor thing by removing the bolts that are in back behind the door and then under the hood going along it and everything. We obviously took off the wiper blades first, and then that allows us access to these bolts to get this front clip off. And there's one underneath from the inside as well on each side, and we're probably gonna take out the bolts that go to the hood as well. We got the 4 9/16 out of the hood on each side, and then it's the same size for the bolts right here. We got them out on both sides, and then I'm going to take you underneath. There's one on each side underneath there, and then there's the body mount bolts that hold the core support. And probably move on to the cab and take the body mount bolts out of that, and then unbolt the bed from the chassis. Forgot about this one that holds on the inner fender. There's the one right here as well that we went ahead and took out. So this one is the core support ones, which are right here. Bed mount bolts are kind of snapping off, as you can see. I can get it like up and off about this far on this side, so it's like ready to come off, but as soon as I touch this side and grab it, then that side falls in like that. So I'm definitely gonna need at least one other person. I came to the hood, I just stood in the engine bay and climbed out with it on my back. I had my lady help me lift the front clip off, and then the next thing is going to be removing these cab mount bolts. As you can see, I've already started taking the bed mount bolts off as well, so we can take the bed off and then start the old 6.5 Detroit diesel. So onto the cab mounts, you can see that this one comes right up through the floor underneath right there. There's not like a nut or anything on it, it just threads right through there. I think it's a 16 millimeter. And this one appears to be a 21. As you can see, I kind of had to grab onto the stud because it's just turning for me. I don't really have the ability to get a socket or even a wrench on this very well, because someone like melted the corner of the bolt, like tried to weld it to the body, I'm guessing, so that it would sit still when they put it back together. But just going to, since I got it out like a good amount, I'm just gonna cut the head of this off and then let it fall through. I'm gonna need a new bolt anyway. I know this is bad, but obviously we'll get it fixed and addressed when the time comes. So we got the top of that one cut off, and that one's out now, you can see. Luckily we didn't actually have to cut this one. We're gonna go ahead and do the same on the driver's side, and then we'll move over to the bed. And the bed, unfortunately, has been welded there and there instead of using the bolts. I've got some cutting that I need to do. On the driver's side, the rear one broke. The front one is actually working the way it's supposed to. At least we'll have one good one on each side for reference, front and back. On the driver's side for the bed, it looks like they did use the nut and bolt, but they also decided to weld it. I've gotten this far on my own. I just need to lift it up over the hump of the motor a little bit more. We'll have the cab off, and then the bed is next, and then we'll do the same to the OBS 6.5 so that we can put this body onto that chassis. Alrighty guys, so I know we just took everything apart, but we just basically put everything back together because we're moving a pretty long distance again this time. It's like over 600 miles, and we're gonna go ahead and use the bed and stuff basically as like a trailer. So that's why you haven't seen us continue to do the diesel swap and everything like that. As you can see, the body lines are terrible. I just slapped it together and threw the bolts in so that we could tow it really quick.